Today I'm going to show you guys a super easy and simple way to make pasta sauce. If you've got tomatoes, an oven, a blender, and some mason jars, you can make this pasta sauce and can it right in your own home. This doesn't involve any peeling, any dicing of any tomatoes. It's super easy, and I'm going to show you exactly how I can mine. So to start, you're obviously going to need a good amount of tomatoes. The nice thing about this recipe and this method of canning pasta sauce is it doesn't really matter how many tomatoes you have. You can have a huge box, a bushel, a half a bushel, or you can have a small basket that you've collected out of your backyard. You can even make this, like if you want to make spaghetti the next day, you can grab some tomatoes and make this sauce any time of the year. You don't have to can it. I am just making it in a large batch and then I'm going to can it so we have it throughout the whole year. So a lot of methods call for peeling your tomatoes, and I personally don't have time for that. So this method is super easy. Anybody can do it. The first step is just to wash your tomatoes. We get just some spider webs and things like that on them, a little bit of dirt. If your tomatoes are outside, they're getting rained on, they're probably going to have some dirt or compost that splashes on them. So just go ahead and wash them, rinse them really quick, and then you're ready to go. So if you've got paste tomatoes, which is the best kind in my opinion for making sauce because they're a meaty tomato, they don't have a lot of water content, they make the best sauce. But as you can see here, I'm using a mixture of tomatoes. We've got some cherries, some slicers, and a lot of paste tomatoes. So once you've got them washed, you're just going to pick all of the stems off, and you can see a tomato like this that's got a little bit of kind of funky spot right there. These tomatoes, you can go ahead and just cut that out, and all you're going to do is cut the stems out, cut them in half lengthwise, or you can quarter them, I do both, and then throw them on a cookie sheet. Once you've got them quartered or cut in half and set on a cookie sheet, you're just going to drizzle them with olive oil and add whatever you would like at this point. You can add onion, you can add garlic cloves, so you can add garlic powder, your salt, your pepper, you can add any herbs in any form and fashion. I have done both fresh herbs, dried herbs, and you can see in this video, I'm gonna add my herbs actually in the blender when they're done roasting. So a tomato like this, these are my paste tomatoes that I just picked the stem right off of. I don't bother taking that off, I don't bother cutting it. I just cut it lengthwise and then add it to my cookie sheet, drizzle them with oil, add my seasonings, and then the next step is super easy. You just roast them in your oven. Once you have them all added to your cookie sheet and you've got them drizzled with oil and added whatever seasonings and herbs you would like, the next step is to roast them overnight in your oven, or you can do this all day if you want to prep them in the morning and can at night. You can do this over the course of the day. So then I will can it the next day, sometime mid-morning. And all of the work was done for me while I was sleeping. I personally like to prep them at night before I go to bed, get them on my cookie sheet and get them roasting in the oven and let it do its thing overnight while I'm sleeping. And then I shut my oven off as soon as I get up in the morning, and then I get to it when I can get to it. Once they are done roasting in the oven the next day or later that night, you're just gonna take them out. You're gonna scoop them off of your cookie sheets with a slotted spoon or spatula and throw them in a blender, blend it up into a sauce consistency, whatever you prefer, thicker, thinner, it's up to you. At that point, you can continue to add herbs, garlic, however you wanna do it. This is super flexible. Blend them up, and then they're ready just to be put in your jars and canned. And I use a slotted spoon or spatula so that I can scoop up the tomatoes and leave any of the liquid in the bottom of the pan, because I will sometimes use regular slicing tomatoes in with my paste tomatoes, and they just produce a lot of liquid that I don't really want in my sauce. I'd rather it be a much thicker sauce, like a traditional spaghetti sauce. So using a slotted spatula like this leaves all of that extra moisture and liquid and water content from the tomatoes in the bottom of the pan. You're gonna see my whole process in this video, but once you're done blending them in the blender, you add them to your jars, put your clean lids and rings on them, and then you can simply water bath them. And I will show you at the end of this video how to water bath can your tomato sauce. So now that we have finished jarring up our sauce and putting our lids and rings on them, I just put them in the water bath here. I'm using my pressure canner pot without the lid, and I'm just gonna do a water bath. So I've covered my jars with about 1 inch of water, and then we're gonna put it on high, let it come to a rolling boil. As soon as it comes to a rolling boil, you're gonna set the timer. And for quart jars, they're gonna need about 25 to 30 minutes. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna let it come to a boil, set our timer for 25 to 30 minutes, and then let them cool off in the pot, like let the water cool down a bit, and then take them out and set them on a towel. Okay, so it is the next day, and I let the jar sit for a good 12, maybe 18 hours, and we ended up with 8 quarts plus this 1 pint right here, plus a partial quart that I put in the fridge. So, not bad.